Hey, what's up guys? This is TJ Rogers. Thank you for tuning in to Nigel Alexander's channel and for submitting the questions below on Instagram and YouTube. I'm gonna go out through some questions right now and then answer them for you guys. So my first question I was asked was, what was the first trick I learned, by co_Alex13. First trick I learned was for sure probably a 50-50 on a curb or some type of ollie on flat ground. That's usually the basics for the kids these days when they start out. Baby_Chris_818. When did I turn pro? I turned pro in September 2014, almost 2 years ago now. Pretty stoked. I am Tabsy, switch or regular. What do I prefer? I prefer to skate regular, obviously, but for certain tricks downstairs and ledges, switch is a little bit easier for me now on certain ways, you know. Everyone has their certain tricks that they're good at, and switch front side is kind of a little bit easier for me. So _Wood City, heel flip or kickflip. I'm definitely more of a kickflip dude. _Noah N. When was the first time you had sex? Goddamn, some personal questions right there, my man. I think I was like 17. My favorite shoes right now are the Costin ones, the Nike SBs. They're just really good for everything that I skate, and they don't wear out too fast, and I'm just really hyped on them. Desert_skater_. What's the biggest stair set you've hit? Just jumping stairs, I think it's been a 20. And hitting a handrail, it has to be over 24, I believe. I'm not 100%. I lost count after a while. I don't really count the stairs anymore. I just go for it. But was the switch front 3 scary? Which switch front 3 was it though? I didn't really explain it. I think the Hollywood was pretty scary, as well as the Wallenberg. They're both pretty scary for me.
Which one was harder?
What trick was harder?
Which of those? Yeah.
I'd like to say it was different because it's more of pressure and nerves involved of jumping down certain things like that, and more of the iconic skate spots. It's like, oh my god, you're doing it on this. That's like more of like where you get nervous rather than actually trying the trick. So actually doing the trick itself, I'd like to say Hollywood, because Wallenberg, it was hard, but it was more mental battle, having to get the ramp there, having to get everyone there. With Hollywood, I flew from Canada and I just made it happen, you know. Got 3 staples in my head, went back 3 days later, then did it. Just said fuck life.
Dude, by the way, that's probably my favorite trick done down Hollywood 16, dude. Hey, it really is.
Appreciate it, Nigel. I'm psyched, man. It was just like such a gratifying feeling landing that and rolling away, you know.
I can only imagine.
Especially a couple years ago, like when it happened, you know. Now it's sunken in. I've already, you know, processed it properly now, where I'm amped on it and stuff. But before, I never really put it into recognition where like I actually did that on Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? It
had to like soak in for a while to really.
That's what I'm saying. To really put it in depth of like, shit, I actually did that.
That's
you know, I don't really think before I do things sometimes.
Just go for it.
R_Alejandro67. What was the name of your first/favorite skate park? I'd like to say my first skate park and my favorite skate park to this day still is my hometown park called Iroquois Skate Park, also known as DJV in Whitby, Ontario. It's been around since 2000 and it's just been kicking it ever since. I host my own event there every year for the last 4 years, so I'm really stoked on that, and yeah, that's definitely my favorite park.
That's dope.
O_Christo. What was my first skateboard? My first skateboard was a OG Santa Cruz board, all white with the red logo. And actually, my grandma got it for me when I was a kid, and whenever it would get scratched up from skating a rail, my grandma had house paint, white and red, and I would actually paint the graphic back to make sure it was all fresh, because I like being fresh back then. It's pretty sick. @RamenRadman. But who are your sponsors, and how long did it take you to get your first sponsor? My sponsors up to date are Blind Skateboards, Tensor Trucks, Bones Wheels, Red Dragon Apparel, Nike Shoes, Diamond Hardware, Grizzly Grip Tape, Jammy Pack, My Package, Boxers, and I think there's one more, but OC Ramps. And how long did it take me to get sponsored? It took me a few years to get fully sponsored by something legit. I had obviously a couple little skate shops and skate parks that kind of flowed me some stuff, a couple percentage off, but it was never anything too crazy. So my first sponsor, I'd like to say, was like Circa Shoes back in 06, I believe. Yeah, about 2006, I ended up getting some shoes flown to me, and then, yeah, I was hyped.
Man, that's dope.
Long time ago. Ride dot on toast. Did you ever see yourself becoming this good in skateboarding when you first started? To be honest, I actually never really thought I would, but I always had the drive and the motivation to make it happen. I always wanted to be a pro skater, so when I was given the opportunity and the chance to really make this a reality for myself, I truly put it into perspective, and I actually did that extra 10% that no one else would, and really put it down and just made it happen for myself, you know, because no one's going to make it happen unless you do it for yourself, you know. So got to really take that into perspective and make sure that you do it for yourself, not anyone else. And where did you meet Nigel and how? At Ivan_SK. I actually heard of him online and seen his amazing work that he's been doing lately, and I just really wanted to be a part of it, so I hit him up personally and asked him if I could be a part of his channel and doing some things with him. So hopefully stay tuned, there'll be some more things coming up soon with us. So 2 kids asked the same question back to back. What's your favorite trick and what's your favorite switch trick? That was by 3Christian3 and Gabe_336_. I'd like to say my favorite trick is obviously the old faithful switch front 3, you know, or like a switch flip. That are my favorite. Seeing people do certain tricks is obviously like a nollie flip, or, you know, you can never get better than a good nollie flip on flat ground, you know. That shit's just gangster. I love that. James Craig, he commented, who's your favorite team manager? I obviously have to give my man James Craig a shout out, obviously, you know. He's the best TM. He always sends boards out to me on time. He's always making it happen. I love you, James. Major shout outs, my man. What was your worst injury? By Stale_Bagel. My worst injury was for sure at this one contest in 2010 called Take the Cake. I ended up getting, the doctors told me it was called a ball of stress, and it was pretty much what it was a hot pocket in your ankle, and it kind of hurt your whole shin and your whole like knee down pretty much. And I went to this place called Twist Sports Conditioning in my hometown, and I talked to this girl named Heather, and she ended up kind of showing me a couple techniques to release a lot of stress in my ankles and my calves, where I would put a ball under my calf kind of like this. I would prop it up, and then I'd have another ball, and I would circulate in counterclockwise and clockwise on my calf muscle. It would hurt, and then I would just push in, and then I would release the tension going this way. And it honestly, I did that for about 2 weeks, and then I was actually able to skate again after 8 months of being off my board because of how your whole body is connected. So make sure if it's your ankle that's hurting, it could be also something else making that happen. So always be aware of your body and what's going on, you know? Vasco, how long did it take you to learn how to kickflip? I don't have a clue. James_Pierce43, would you hardflip Wallenberg? Definitely not. Favorite cereal by Gnarly Ian? Definitely Reese Puffs. Flores Jose_13, what was the trick? What trick was the hardest for you to learn? I'd like to say any 360 with a flip maneuver or anything crazy like that. Everything else kind of came natural after years of skating. Favorite year of skateboarding? Definitely 2009. It's a good year, yo. Explain the battle for Switch 3 Wallenberg. By the way, I saw you in Montreal at the demo last month. You're sick. Thanks at Horia_skate. The battle for the Switch 3 Wallenberg was pretty chill, actually, to be honest. I was out in SF filming for the RDS video for a few weeks, and long story short, I went there the last day of my trip. My back was a little sore, and long story short, I tried it less than 10 tries, and then I did it. I was pretty stoked.
Damn!
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. Thanks, man. Woo. Yeah, I was hyped, and then, yeah, I hurt my back right before I started trying it. I ollied it, and then I tried to do a back 180 on flat, and I stuck, and then I flew back, and I kind of popped my back out.
Oh.
And then I had my foam roller, luckily, and then I laid on it. I felt it go back into place, and then I just kept going, and I charged it, and then luckily I did it within 10 tries, or else I would have been it's messed up pretty bad, you know?
Yeah.
At Insta Jinja, tell the story from the 2 Wallenberg NBDs. The Switch 360, I did less than 10 tries, luckily, and the Switch Big Spin that I did on it was a few months after that. I was on a blind tour out in SF area, and then I ended up wanting to go there, and I Switch Biggied it within 10 tries too, luckily. And I was fucking stoked, so yeah, it was a good time. At Derek_Duarte, how did you practice skating during the winters in Canada, and any tips for winter practicing in Canada? Where I grew up in Toronto, they had an underground mall called Path. And to be honest, I think we were like the first generation to kind of skate that indoors. We'd go into like York University, Ryerson, we would go into George Brown, we would go into all these different universities and like malls and everything, and we would just skate them, and we just didn't care, you know? We were ruthless, we were young little punks that didn't care. I definitely wouldn't recommend to do that now, but that's what we used to do when we were kids. Whenever it was winter time, you'd bring 2 pairs of shoes, throw on your new ones, suit up, and then you just go for it. Get kicked out within 5 tries, and then you run down the hall until you get out of their building. No_subliminals. When and how did you decide on moving out of Toronto, and how is it going for you? I decided to move out of Toronto when I was getting to the cusp of like my amateur hour of skating. Like I was an amp for a few years, dropped a video part, 2 video parts, and to really want to further my career and try to be a professional, I knew that I had to move out to the States to make it happen. Yeah, I didn't have to move here to make it happen, but I knew it would only help the process and get me there quicker if I moved. So I decided to move 2 years ago, moved out here. I'm loving it so far. Such consistent weather. I'm able to skate every day, meet new filmers and skate and do a bunch of different projects whenever. It's just a lot more going on out here, opportunity-wise for you. And yeah, I'm just stoked to be out here, you know? It's good times. Nicholas Morales Dotorg. Sorry, that's a really long name. What's your favorite trick to do on ledges? I'd like to say it's a nollie flip nose slide or like a half cab heel nose. Those are really fun for me to do. And at Bard Nelson, what happened to your family? If you want to check out my whole family and my situation on how I grew up, you can go to redbull.tv skateboarding, and you can search my name, and my whole life story will come up as the Project Smile. It's pretty good. Just my whole family's in it, and you'll be able to check it out. That was the Instagram questions done, and now we're on to the YouTube questions. So, live slow, skate fast. Do you ever think about skating? Yes, I do. I think about it all the time. I'm not thinking about it right now because, you know, we're at Cherry Park out here in Long Beach. What's the secret to switch front threes? By Rafael Alberto. To be honest, I don't know if I could be able to tell you that, you know? That's my secret right there, you know? No, I'm just kidding. Because honestly, it's like this. I have my back foot right here in the corner of the pocket. Then my front foot is like this, kind of hanging over with my toes over the top. And then it's just wind up those shoulders, and then as you pop, it's just like a switch 3, you know? If you already know how to do them. How come your skating looks like some weak ass dog shit? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm doing my fucking best out here. You cut me a break, dude. Gypsy Killa Brian, do you like ketchup on your eggs? No, not really. I just started eating eggs, and I eat the over easies. Make it into a little bacon sandwich, you know? It's the goods.
Oh, that's good like that.
Yeah, it is.
Dude,
so good. Throw the bacon on it too.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
dip
bomb.
the yolk in the toast too.
Dude,
when you're doing it.
So good.
Blows the socks off your feet.
Dude, I gotta get that next time I get breakfast.
Luis Saldana, any plans to visit Fresno? Hopefully within the next few months. I'm back in Fresno. They got that sick DIY spot I skated last year on that blind tour. I need to go back there and get some more clips there. It was fun, dude. Major shout outs, dude. At Danny Cornall, how did you do in terms of school and stuff? I actually graduated high school in 09. It's a good year. I was pretty stoked on it. And then actually my vice principal was a good friend of mine. She lived on my court, and luckily she knew that I was skating and I was traveling a lot, and she really wanted me to further in my career and what I wanted to do. So she ended up helping me with my grade 12 English and certain things to kind of get by. But thank you again, Miss Dwayne, you're the best. Major shout outs. At Rugrat Clips, what is your favorite Baker Pro? I'd like to say Terry Kennedy, motherfucker, because he puts the capital B in the boss, you know? Baker, you already know. At Isaiah Martinez, how long did your Red Dragons part take to film? I think it took about a year and a half, no more than 2 years. I kind of was filming for it, and then 2 other projects came into play as I was filming for that, which was the Blind IOU video, as well as the Red Bull project that I did with my documentary of my life, and as well as a full street part in Barcelona. So less than 2 years, I'd like to say, for that part. At SO Carlos, why did you leave Circa for Nike? I actually never left Circa. They just stopped calling me and stopped paying me and stopped sending me shoes. So Nike ended up just kind of starting sending me shoes, Flow, and I'm still Flow for Nike. I don't even get paid or anything. I just get shoes, but I'm stoked, so I can't complain. Can you do an ollie back heel for me? And steezy is optional. I'll do it. I'll try an ollie back heel for you, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it all steez. Do it right here.
Sure.
First try. Oh, sick! Oh.
Sick.
Arisma, don't call me out, man. I fucking fell. I'm sorry, pal. I couldn't get it first try. I've been sitting down on my ass all day. I did it for you, though, so props. How's the California street compared to the Canadian streets? I'd like to say Canadian streets are a lot more rougher, just because it's more weathered and we get winters and you guys don't. But yeah, I don't know. The streets out here are so smooth compared to Canada. And the sidewalks too, they're actually so smooth compared to Canada. I hate skating in Canada going places, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? At Andrew Wagstaff, if you had to ball grab for the rest of your life or push Mongo for the rest of your life, which would you choose? I'd like to say ball grab, just because when I'm skating, at least I don't look like a kook. At Carl Pilapil, how old are you? And shout outs to Philippine skateboarders. I'm 24 and almost 25, and major shout outs to the Filipinos over there, killing it, man. Much respect to you guys, dude. Oh, James PM, are you cool with skateboarding being in the Olympics? Any thoughts about it? I mean, I'm backing it and I'm also not backing it, you know? It's like, skateboarders should have already been in the Olympics, but all of the rules and regulations you have to be of being in the Olympics and how skateboarding lifestyle is, it's 2 different completely separate things, and it's going to be really hard for skaters to be able to pass that. So we'll see in 2020, because it did get approved, so you never know. Your boy might be on the Canadian team fucking repping that shit hard, so you never know really, you know, until it happens. So at Ben Hodder, how do you know Bobby the Kaiser? I actually grew up with Bobby ever since we were little. I was about 10, 11, and he was 6 or 7, and he just started skating. His mother would bring him to the skate park, and then I ended up kind of hanging out with him, and I actually lived with them for a while too, growing up. His parents took me in like I was one of their own when I was having some troubles growing up with school and parents and life. But yeah, Bobby's shit. His whole family's the best, and much respect to them for everything they've done for me. Love you guys. At Random Stuff by Andrew, how many tries did it take you to switch 180 El Toro? And what were you thinking before I tried it? To be honest, it was kind of like came out of nowhere. I was actually staying in Arizona at the time, and I drove out here to skate with 2 of my friends, Tyrone Monroe and Brendan Humphrey, and we ended up skating out here. And then on our way home, I was like, let's just stop at El Toro and check it, you know, just to want to look at it. I ended up trying it with just me and 2 of my friends. I tried it 7 times. I landed on it 4 out of the 7. I kicked out 3. The last one I kicked out, I couldn't walk for a week straight. This was on a Sunday. So I chilled for a full week. We drove back to Arizona. That Sunday morning, I drove out from Arizona back to California, and then I did it that Sunday morning. I went to like a spot in Costa Mesa. I skated it, and then I went right to El Toro right after, and then I did it second try. So all in all, it was like 9 tries, but that day it was second try. Landed on it first try, slipped out, ran back up, and then did it. And then we went to another spot, and then it's kept it going. Skated some other double set. I was like 18 at the time. I was all fired up. I was with the blind team manager, Bill Weiss, and Ben Karpinski from Thrasher, and yeah, we just made it happen. It was a good day overall, you know?
Damn, that's insane.
Yeah, and then that's it. That was the last question.
Wow.
All right, guys, and that was the rest of the questions from Nigel Alexander's YouTube and Instagram channels. Thank you guys again for submitting your questions and getting me to answer them. I'm super stoked that hopefully I got everyone's. I missed a few, but hopefully I did everyone's up to par. And thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys on this channel again soon, my mans. Ooh.
Thanks, TJ.